wealth and this magnificent view.
Couldn't agree more.
May our kingdoms prosper as beautifully as the stars.
John chapter 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
Because see, we're going to have these different nations in slavery, not only on the earth, but also on other planets. That's the glory of the kingdom. We're going to have servants on other planets. We're going to colonize other planets. All right? We're going to expand. You think about this truth, you think about the gospel, you think about the plan of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Hey, you got that one song by Drake, God's plan. When you think about God's plan, it's going to take place on the earth. There's really a blueprint for what's going to happen all throughout the entire universe. For all throughout the entire universe. What we're doing is a part of a blueprint. You know, like this truth is a franchise, and it's going to branch out. It's going to expand all throughout the universe, man. To distant galaxies, you know. So don't be surprised, you know, you brother, the hopeful elect, the Lord give you your own galaxy or your own planet, own planets, and you colonize them, and you implement the laws, statutes, and commandments on them, and you're going to have servants on these planets. All right?
John chapter 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
Wealth and this magnificent view.
Couldn't agree more.
May our kingdoms prosper as beautifully as the stars.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutation. Hopefully, they got there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, pushing to get about it. Shalom to the hopeful the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, the GMS Mississippi camp, and what we want to get into this morning, you know, with the news and prophecy, you know, if you haven't heard, you know, Memphis is next up, okay, on the list, okay, of bringing in federal law enforcement, you know, to deal with the crime. All right, and you know, this devil Trump, okay, it look like he's been going on a tour, all right, to a city near you, you know, and we got some interviews from this devil. Also, we got a clip from the Jimmy Dore show, and he's going into how they're going into how Trump is pretty much bringing back the Praetorian Guard. All right, and we're going to go into that. First, we're going to get a couple precepts, and then we're going to go into the Jimmy Dore video, and then we're going to go into what the Praetorian Guard is. And we have a video also of Trump speaking about Memphis, man. Okay, so we're going to keep watch on these things, man. These devils, you know, they're going full steam ahead with their move. You know, they got these different psyops going, you know, with the unaliving, all right, of old boy, okay, and they getting ready for the next phase of the New World Order, okay, and a part of that is the heavy persecution of the tribes, which is known as Jacob Trouble, Okay, so we're going to constantly see things, all right, gradually, build to a boiling point. Okay, so let's go here first to Revelation chapter 12. All right, in 12, you got it, bro.
Because Revelation 12 and 12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time."
It said he knoweth that he have but a short time. All right, and what has the Lord showed these devils, and even us, we're a sign, we're proof that the Lord is dealing with His people again. So even us is a sign and a torment to these devils, man. Okay, and this is why, because at the end of the day, the prize is the prophets. Okay, see, niggas are low hanging fruit. The Lord is going to allow Esau to have his way with niggas. You see, but the prize to these devils is the prophets, and this is what this is really what he's gradually working his way to, is the prophets, because us in itself is a sign. Matter of fact, all right, let's go here. Let's say, because the devil knoweth he had but a short time. All right, so let's go here to the book of Isaiah 18 and 18, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 18. It says, "Behold, I and the children whom the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai had given me for signs,
Yep,
and for wonders in Israel, for the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai of hosts, which dwell in the Mount of Zion."
he said, "Behold, I," and the I is Yahweh Shai, and the children, okay, which is the elect, and this elect begins with the prophets. You have the 1/3 men, women, and children. Okay, but then you have the first fruits. Okay, which will be on the front line of teaching these words, and this will be the main sign. Okay, that the Lord is dealing with His people. You see, that's why when you go to the word sign, and we'll link it up. All right. And let's get this word signs in the Hebrew. It's atah. All right. And you go into it says a sign, a signal, a distinguishing mark. All right. It says a remembrance of a miraculous sign, a token. Okay. Miracle or proof. It said miracle or proof, because you got to think about it. These devils know all the tactics that they put against us. See, we didn't understand the spiritual warfare we was in, with these devils. The chemical warfare with the crack, all right, the psychological warfare with the gangster music and the rap culture and the music videos and the enchantments. We didn't understand how these things were working against us, that this devil was at war with us, man. So it's a miracle for us to be joined back to our power through all those enchantments and tactics of the devil to keep us destroyed. All right, and this is proof that the Lord is dealing with His people. You had found something, bro?
Well, this is gonna be when you go into the Praetorian Guard.
Praetorian Guard.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go here real quick, and this is a spirit. You know what I'm saying? We have had this planned out, these precepts, but when you go to Isaiah 19, because in this same chapter, which you went over the other day, it speaks about Egyptian being the Egyptian, the cruel Lord. But then something else is happening in this chapter. Okay, so let's read Isaiah 19 and 19.
Isaiah 19 and 19. "In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai."
Yeah, and these altars are these camps. You see, in the midst of Egypt, in the midst of the grunt, okay, of our captivity, okay, where the Lord raised up altars through what? Raising up the prophets. Because going back to it, as we are priests after the order of Melchizedek, and we're able to give up spiritual sacrifices that's acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shai, and we're doing it right in the midst of Egypt, in the land of Egypt. Okay, and what would that represent? Okay, Verse 20.
Verse 20, it says, and it shall be a sign and for a witness unto the Lord Yahweh Shema of hosts in the land of Egypt, for they shall cry unto the Lord Yahweh Shema because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them.
Yeah, so the Lord is strategic, so he strategically raised us up, okay, in the land of our enemies, okay, especially over here in America, all right, and it's a sign and it's a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. So, over here in America, man, all right, because this is where the most camps are at. This is where majority of the prophets are at. You have brothers, beloved brothers throughout the earth, because it's going to be a global deliverance, you see. But the main exodus is going to be here in America, man, all right? And that's why so much emphasis on America, which is spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great, okay, the dragon, all right, dealing with the Roman Empire revived, which America is the centerpiece of the Roman Empire of NATO, EU, and America alliance, man. Okay, but the Lord has raised up prophets, and you best believe this devil is weary. This is what got Esau weary in this council is the prophets, man. Okay, so let's go from there, and like we always go into, history repeats itself in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. So let's go here to what this devil got going on, what Trump got going on, and this is nothing but the Praetorian Guard, all right, coming back. So let's go here. This is from the Jimmy Dore show, and this Trump demands his own private army to quiet dissent. Okay, so we're gonna go into back. All right, so let's go into it, let it play. All right, and you're gonna see, the similarities of what Trump doing and what, these ancient, Roman emperors would do. Okay, what they would have. Okay, and it's the same thing.
There have been a lot of strongmen and authoritarians who have created their own paramilitaries who are loyal to them over the country or the Constitution or democracy in general, and those situations never turn out well.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm your guest host, Misty Winston. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It's Friday. It's a weekend. I think after I'm done here, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm going to log off of social media for the weekend and decompress a little bit. I think I need it. This week's been brutal. But this story is insane. Not surprising, but insane. So this is from Dropsite, who I'm not a huge fan of. They're pretty I think I need to do some research on them. But President Trump has signed an executive order directing War Secretary, which I kind of love that they changed that to the Department of War. It's much more honest. War Secretary Pete Hegseth to create a standing National Guard. You ready for this? Quick reaction force. A domestic military unit trained, resourced, and ready for rapid nationwide deployment to support law enforcement in, quote, quelling civil disturbances. That is a terrifying sentence. Under the order, Hegseth must designate Guard members in every state, ensure that they are trained and equipped, and make them available for mobilization at the president's direction. So this is basically like his own little private army to deal with civil disturbances, civil unrest, protesters, basically. And we've seen the way that Trump treats protesters. It's not good. So this is not good stuff. Investigative reporter Radley Balco warned on Democracy Now! That Trump has long sought a loyal paramilitary force to crush dissent, calling the order a dangerous erosion of the line between the military and civilian policing. If courts block the plan, Balco cautioned, Trump could expand ICE and Border Patrol into a de facto domestic army, agencies already flush with new congressional funding and less constrained by constitutional limits. And this is why we don't support ICE, or I don't support ICE. Maybe you do. I do not support ICE and Border Patrol because I am very, very, very acutely aware of the fact that they can easily easily be turned and used against American citizens. They're already well funded. They're using Israeli spy technology. They're using facial recognition technology. They've got all the bells and whistles, and they could very easily be flipped and turned into a domestic operation. And that's not something I'm interested in any way, shape, or form. So I do have this segment from Democracy Now! Where Radley Balco is talking about this. I'm going to play this for you guys so you can hear him discussing it, and then we'll come back and talk about it together.
Executive order, Trump directing Pete Hegseth to, quote, ensure the availability of a standing National Guard quick reaction force that shall be resource trained and available for rapid nationwide deployment.
Yeah, so Trump has always wanted his own muscle, right? He's always expressed envy for dictators and authoritarians overseas who have forces that they can deploy to do their own sort of personal bidding, whether it's putting down protests or going after political opponents. And during his first term, if you'll remember, Trump regularly posted on social media about the bikers, soldiers, and cops who are ready to rally to his cause and hurt his opponents. It's hard to remove that context from this executive order. Trump wants these rapid deployment units created within the National Guard that he can deploy. I think the word nationwide is important, right? This isn't to deploy overseas. This is a military force to be deployed domestically. We've long had a norm or an ethos in this country of keeping the military really eating away at that and creating a new norm where it's just sort of accepted that this is going to be part of our country now. We're going to have troops in the streets. But this is particularly problematic, worrisome, because Pete Hegseth has no law enforcement experience, no law enforcement background, and asking him to oversee this project, to oversee the staffing, the training, and the general oversight. And presumably, he would be coming up with the rules of engagement for these forces. Hegseth not only has no law enforcement background, but he defends war criminals. He doesn't believe war crimes are real or should be prosecuted. This is a person who wrote in his book that the military should be enlisted in a holy war. And this is a guy who his favorite word is lethality, right? So he's going to be the person overseeing this. I think it is a really dangerous development. I mean, over the course of recent modern history in the modern world, there have been a lot of strongmen and authoritarians who have created their own paramilitaries who are loyal to them over the country or the Constitution or democracy in general, and those situations never turn out well.
No, I would say that's a safe thing to say. Having a paramilitary force in the streets of this country seems like a really bad idea, guys. And as a activist, as somebody who has been to many protests, as somebody who has been brutalized by cops at protests, I am not interested at all in having the National Guard rolling into protests. And we all know that this isn't going to be used for completely out of control situations and where there needs to be, this is going to be used for any and all dissent. Anybody that protests against Trump, he's going to call in his little paramilitary group to kick your ass. And that is not okay by any stretch of the imagination. That's an insane thing that we are looking at here. But that's exactly what he is seeking to develop here. That's just the video there. So I wanted to bring the paragraphs from this executive order where he's talking about this so you can see for yourself exactly what he says in the wording. This is from the White House website. So, and this is a longer thing. I just brought the parts that have to do with this task force.
So what she's going to go into, all right, is the specifics, all right, of this, what you call a rapid response, okay, paramilitary, which, all right, this is going to be Trump's personal force, okay, and we're finna link it, to the Praetorian Guard of ancient Rome. Okay, so what we're seeing, Trump, he's really tapping into, the spirit of a Caesar. Okay, and you can tell that he's acting differently than any other president. No other president was ever this militant. All right, amongst his own people. And people, American citizens are used to Americans, to American military, all right, and forces, terrorizing abroad. But now, all right, hey, the wolf is come home, hey, because the brother, the guy, Bashir Bosman, all right, Shaheed Bosman, he made the point. You have a certain black bear, and it's only in America. And that black bear, when it goes out to hunt, if it doesn't find anything, then it'll come home and eat his children. It'll eat his cubs, And that bear is ironically only found in America. Well, Americans are used to being going out abroad and just doing what they want, but now there's a lot of resistance on America, man. Okay, and what now America has, engulfed and devoured the world so much that the only thing really left is to come back and devour home. So this is the process that we see happening. America is getting ready to come and devour America, man. Just like ancient Rome devoured ancient Rome. Okay. So she's gonna go into the Pacifics, and then we'll go into the chat and go into the Praetorian Guard.
Which again, the DC Safe and Beautiful Task Force. The naming of things by Trump is comical. The DC Safe and Beautiful Task Force established an executive order 14252 of March 27th, 2025, making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful, shall establish an online portal for Americans with law enforcement or other relevant backgrounds and experience to apply to join federal law enforcement entities to support the policy goals described in Executive Order 14333. Each law enforcement agency that is a member of the DC Safe and Beautiful Task Force, as well as other relevant components of the Department of Justice, as the Attorney General determines, shall further, subject to the availability of appropriations and applicable law, immediately create and begin training, manning, hiring, and equipping a specialized unit that is dedicated to ensuring public safety and order in the nation's capital that can be deployed whenever the circumstances necessitate, and that could be deployed subject to applicable law in other cities where public safety and order has been lost. The Secretary of Defense shall, subject to the availability of appropriations and applicable law, immediately create and begin training, manning, hiring, and equipping a specialized unit within the District of Columbia National Guard, subject to activation under Title 32 of the United States Code, that is dedicated to ensuring public safety and order in the nation's capital, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law. The Attorney General, the Secretary of the Interior, and the Secretary of Homeland Security, in coordination with the Secretary of Defense, shall each deputize the members of this unit to enforce federal law. The Secretary of Defense shall immediately begin ensuring that each state's Army National Guard and Air National Guard are resource trained, organized, and available to assist federal, state, and local law enforcement in quelling civil disturbances and ensuring the public safety and order whenever the circumstances necessitate, as appropriate under law, in coordination with the respective
What's going on, guys? Built this little mini gym area to show you guys what a very small footprint.
I really cannot talk today, guys. Adjutants General, the Secretary of Defense shall designate an appropriate number of each state's trained National Guard members to be reasonably available for rapid mobilization for such purposes. In addition, the Secretary of Defense shall ensure the availability of a standing National Guard quick reaction force that shall be resource trained and available for rapid nationwide deployment. So this is basically just Donald Trump's special little military, special little gang that he can deploy anywhere that he wants to, anywhere that he sees fit, if anybody happens to get a little too rowdy in protesting against something.
So yeah, as you can see, it's on the books. All right. So this rapid response force, okay, is going to be at the order of Trump. Title 32 gives the president direct, authority, to dispatch, force, All right, and that's why you're going to see events happen to where he can call it what? An emergency, state of emergency. Memphis, state of emergency. DC, state of emergency. Chicago, state of emergency. Okay, now he's forming these rapid response troops, which is going to be made up, of different, agencies, and they're going to be specially trained just for this, just for urban warfare. Okay, protest. All right, to what you call it, when you diffuse protests, diffuse any type of dissent. Okay, that's what they're going to be tasked to do. So now let's go to the Praetorian Guard. All right. So when you go to the Praetorian Guard of ancient Rome, okay. So what was the role of the Praetorian Guard? It said the Praetorian Guard was an elite unit of the Imperial Roman army whose primary role was to serve as as the personal bodyguard and intelligence service for Roman emperors, likened unto what? The FBI, the CIA. Okay. However, their influence went far beyond it. It said key roles of the Praetorian Guard. It says bodyguards of the emperor. Their original and official role was to protect the emperor and his family. They accompanied the emperor in public, in battle, and at the palace. Their presence was both symbolic and practical, a show of imperial power and a genuine line of defense. It says they were the only armed troops allowed to stay in Rome, stationed in special barracks, the Castra Praetoria. They could act as riot police or suppress political unrest in the city. Okay, you see that? So that's coming back. All right, this special force is just for that because what America, all right, is at the brink of civil unrest. Okay, so there's a task force being trained. Okay, and that's going to be dispatched in every state, and every state is, and that force in every state is going to be under the direct order. Okay, of Trump. All right, Nero, man. It said political power brokers over time, they became deeply involved in imperial politics, often influencing or even determining who became emperor. They had power to assassinate emperors they disliked, install new emperors, often ones who promoted them, promised them rewards. And it says, for example, in 193, they auctioned the Roman Empire to the highest bidder after murdering Emperor Praetorian. So you go down espionage intelligence. It said they operated as a secret police at times, gathering intelligence on potential threats to the emperor. They helped the emperor keep a tight grip on power, but it also added to the fear and mistrust, all right, surrounding them. It says when you jump down, so I asked which emperors used the Praetorian Guards as a personal hit squad. All right. It says several Roman emperors used the Praetorian Guard as a personal hit squad, leveraging their loyalty and power to eliminate political enemies, rivals, even family members. Below are some notable emperors, all right, who do so. So you got Tiberius, all right, from 14 to 37 CE. All right. He used it as a hit squad. Okay, you got Caligula, you have Claudius. Okay, but then you get here, who do you have? The one and only Nero. Okay, he said Nero used a guard extensively to murder rivals and family members, ordered the murder of his own mother, Agrippina the younger, the stepbrother, all right, and stepbrother, Britannicus. It said used a guard and loyal assassins to carry out political purges, including the death of senators and military commanders. Eventually, the guard abandoned Nero when his rule collapsed in 68 CE. Okay, so this is nothing new that we're seeing with Trump. All right, this is just a revival, all right, of the Praetorian Guard, all right, in the streets of Rome, all right, New Rome, which is America, man. You had something you found, bro?
I was going into just a quick chat search. It says the Praetorian Guard origins, reasons, and why Trump is trying to bring it back. And the brother went into the origins of it, where it came from. So I'm just gonna jump straight down to where it says key actions and statements that people point to. All right, and these are the key statements. These are the key things that Trump is doing to bring back that Praetorian Guard. It says deployments of the National Guard. Trump has ordered the National Guard into cities such as Washington, Memphis, Los Angeles to combat crime, sometimes against the wishes of local and state governments. So even when the local and state governments tell him they got it, he's still acting off his own will.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It says taking control over local law enforcement. For example, in D.C., Trump moved to take over the Metropolitan Police, putting them under federal control. It says rhetoric about rhetoric about internal enemies and deep state, framing agencies and political opponents or radical left and so on as enemies within must be rooted out. In some statements, Trump has suggested that many Americans may prefer a strong leader or even dictatorial powers if that means order and security. And lastly, it said Project 2025 and other organization efforts. There are policy plans that make tank proposals that advocate reshaping civilian service, law enforcement, intelligence agencies so that leadership is more politicized and aligned with particular political ideology.
Mm-hmm. And this is what we're seeing happening, and ultimately it's about these devils, being able to purge out, the undesirables, anyone that's against, their regime or this new world order. Okay, because Trump, as you can see, he's been tasked with ushering in a new world order, man. Okay, he's been all gas. This has just been 6 months. Okay, and he's pretty much at the stage of a dictator. He's a few months out from being a full-blown dictator, man. Okay, and there's no stopping because people are cheering for it. They got the people enchanted. All right, there's people, there's a great rally around Trump. That as he's cleaned up DC. Okay, so now you got Jake looking like a hero. You got him. They got him as if he won the trade war. All right, which people don't even know what that means. Okay, but they give this guy all these accolades of some type of hero, so they're okay with whatever he's doing. You see, and he's just gradually becoming a dictator, and then the elites can use him as a dictator to just enforce this NWO, man, because they know they got to break America down, to be able to forward this global government that they want in the earth. Okay, so let's go here to Revelation 13 and 11. You can read it, bro.
Revelation 13, verse 11. I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spake like a dragon.
So this is speaking of America, man. And those 2 horns go into these 2 political powers, okay, which ultimately was a false left-right paradigm of the Democrats and the Republicans, okay? And they speak to you like what? Like a lamb, soft-spoken. And the lamb, is a savior, is a hero. Both of them, the left speaks about saving you from the right. The right speaks about saving you from the left. Okay, but they're both part of the same dragon, man. Okay, they're both horns on the same dragon. And see, now we're seeing this devil begin to speak like a dragon and become, draconian. Okay, you read verse 12.
Come verse 12. It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Yeah, so he exercised the power of the first beast before him, all right, which is ancient Rome. Okay, what we're seeing, in America is them exercise all the power that ancient Rome had. Okay, that's why you see, America is able to tamper, okay, with all these governments in the earth. Well, Rome was doing that. Okay, Rome was heavily involved in removing, all right, rulers and setting up rulers. Okay, that's what Rome was known for doing. Okay, they would take certain rulers' sons hostage and raise them up to be Roman, and then install them, as a ruler after their father, so they can rule in the way of Rome. A lot of these leaders today, that you think, of their nation, man, these are straight Edomites, man. Okay, but Rome, was doing that, man, implanting, okay, leaders in these different nations. Pilate. That's why Pilate had jurisdiction over Judea, because before they can crucify Yahushua, who they had to go see? Pilate. Okay, he was over the affairs of Judea. You couldn't just do what you wanted to do. Okay, they would let Jake, practice their law, but when it came to death, they had to come see Rome. Okay, so America does the same thing. It projects itself throughout the earth. Rome projected itself throughout their region. Okay, so what we're saying, the Praetorian Guard is coming back. All right, which that was a thing of ancient Rome. You see, and you already know, the Colosseums, the bread, the circus, all those things is Esau reviving Rome. All right, and now that deadly wound has been healed, been fully healed to what we see today as America, NATO, and the EU. That's the Roman Empire fully healed and revived in the earth. Okay, and people are worshiping, all right, the image. Okay, so let's go here, because now, all right, Trump is getting ready, all right, to send the troops to Memphis. Okay, so this is his speech that he's giving about his latest deployment, okay, in Memphis.
Cities, and we're going to take care of all of them step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now, and we're going to keep it that way. It's our nation's capital. We're going to keep it that way, or we're going to federalize it if we had to, but we don't have to anymore because it's in such great shape. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here, and you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman, a man who is involved in all cities through his business. And I say, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to save Chicago.
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet 44.
We're going to wait a little while. But he said, you got to save Chicago. You can't let it go. And this is a very prominent man that everybody knows. And this from another man in Memphis was saying, Bill, he was saying, very interesting, he's on the board of FedEx, and his hotel is about a block away. And he said, when I walked there, I said, I don't want to do this again. I never want to do it again. And they won't let me walk there. They take them in armored vehicles. They take the board members of FedEx in armored vehicles like a block away to the hotel. This shouldn't be the U.S. This shouldn't be the United States of America. The task force will be a replica, as I said, and it's going to be, I think, equally successful. This is a tremendous success we've had in Washington, I can tell you, and everyone knows it. And people in the White House that work here and other people that I know are calling me and thanking me. They're going out to dinners. They're doing things that they haven't done in years. The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals, and more along the prosecutors. We're going to have DOJ led by U.S. Attorney.
So, yeah, you see, he's going to send all these different agencies, man. The FBI, ATF, okay, U.S. Marshals, ICE, okay. So they gearing up to go heavy and hard in Memphis, man. Okay, and it's just one of many. You see, Memphis is just the latest, but this is where we at, man. The devil, a prophecy is speaking. It's not gonna stop. It's gonna continue to gradually, okay, get to the point. All right, a blood in the streets. Okay, because all it takes is one of these young niggas to get cute. Okay, and want to go out with glory. Okay, and that's just gonna give this devil all the ammunition he need to take it to a whole nother level with Jake, man. Okay, so just remember, man, these things are happening, man. Hey, one event, all right, can take this thing to the next level. Okay, so the brother, you got that?
Yeah, I just called it a lot of. This is search that you want. It says, was Rome known for having a lot of crime?
So this is going to the brother as, was Rome known for having a lot of crime? Okay, because he said this shouldn't be America. Well, America is Rome. So, well, did Rome have a lot of crime? Go ahead.
It says, yes, ancient Rome, especially during the late Republic and early empire, was known for having significant amount of crime, particularly in the city itself.
Yeah, particularly in the city itself. So Rome was known for having a lot of crime. Go ahead.
It goes into, it says here's the breakdown. It says street crime in the city of Rome. It says political violence. It says organized crime and corruptions.
Go to the street crime.
Street
top,
crime.
yeah, first.
Kind of street crime in the city of Rome. It says the streets are dangerous, especially at night. Muggings, assaults, and even murders were common, particularly in the poor and more crowded neighborhoods.
Wait a minute, the same thing. So it says the streets were dangerous, especially at night. Mugging, assaults, and even murders were common, particularly in the poor and more crowded neighborhoods, man. Because it was Rome that came up with the concept of apartments, man. Stacking people on top of each other like that, man. All right, that's not a natural way of living. Because what the worst crime is? Well, Jake is confined in these neighborhoods, the house to house, or these goddamn projects, man. Okay, especially the projects, because the projects will be worse than the neighborhood, man. Okay, because it's not a natural way, okay, of living. You see, so this is nothing new, no new thing under the sun, But this devil says it shouldn't be like this in America. It should be like this because you the violent man. All right, so your empire gonna be violent. You see, you can get there real quick in Ecclesiasticus 10.
Ecclesiasticus,
Sirach 10 and 2. Okay, so here it is. You're known as the violent man, so your people gonna be violent. Okay, and then we'll get that. What's that in Psalms 140? Yeah, Psalms 140. Okay. But yeah, so this devil, they gearing up for Memphis. He's making an announcement. All right, that they on the way to Memphis, man. All right.
Get the Ecclesiastes first.
Yeah, get the Ecclesiastes first, and then get that Psalms 140. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes or Sirach?
Sirach, Ecclesiasticus.
Okay, come on. Yeah. This is book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 10 and 2. It says, as the judge of the people himself, so are his officers, and of what and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Such is all they that dwell therein. So what manner, okay, of the king, so is the people. Okay, and you're a violent man, so of course. And then look at the music that they allow. The music that they promote. What's the hottest concert that everybody's talking about?
Youngboy.
NBA Youngboy. And guess who pardoned? Trump. Trump pardoned NBA Youngboy. So if he was such anti-crime, you gonna pardon? All right, the worst young nigga in the universe right now. You see, showing you that these people are hypocrites, man. Let's get that real quick in Psalms, because what type of man is in power right now? Read verse 1. and 2. Yep.
Because in Psalm 140, starting at verse 1 and 2, it says, the chief musician, a song of David, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their hearts continually as they gather together for war.
Yeah, so continually, it said first it calls him a violent man. It said they continue to gather together for war. So these young niggas out here on the demon time, well, this is a byproduct of Esau Edom. These young niggas are a byproduct of Esau, man. Okay? This is what we're seeing. But you're telling you, Jakes, you keep playing into this criminal character because it's cute. Okay? Because Eve likes street niggas, and you keep playing into this this character, okay, with this devil. You see? Well, you're falling right into the snare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're falling right into the snare of the sword, man. So let's let it play some more.
For the Western District of Tennessee, who is here or not here? Who's that person here? That person is going to be very busy. So we're going to have U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee. And most importantly, Pam Bondi's here. She's heading it up, and she's doing an unbelievable job in every respect beyond this. So also worked with some of the members of the team right here on DC, and we're very proud of that effort. We essentially had the crime down to a very low rate in 12 days. And within another 10 days after that, it was so incredible. And it continues at that level, and we're going to continue. We have to, because it's our capital. This team will deploy the full powers of federal law enforcement agencies and enforcement generally to restore public safety and get dangerous career criminals off of our streets. We're going to get them off. In 2024, Memphis had the highest violent crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the third highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well, thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City. It's been, and you know Mexico City is not a cakewalk. It's been overrun with carjackings, robberies, shootings, and killings. There were 249 murders, 429 rapes, 5,616 burglaries, and 12,522 violent assaults in just the last little while in 2024 and in pieces of 2025, where it's actually gotten worse until recently when we sent the FBI down to see what the hell is going on.
With Lucid Spark, you can bring your team's best and brightest ideas to life. The virtual whiteboard is...
Last month, a vicious thug carjacked an elderly woman parked at the movie theater, dragged her out of the car, and body slammed her into the pavement, where she is still trying to recover. It probably won't be successful. So we're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore. We're stopping it. We're doing it one by one, time, but we want to go quickly. We don't want to lose Chicago. We're going to lose Chicago. We're going to lose places like you go to St. Louis. St. Louis, we're going to lose St. Louis. We're not going to lose. We want to save these places. You're going to lose them. It was the way the man said it. He was a very high quality man. I said, "Who would you do next?" He said, "Sir, do Chicago. You don't want to lose Chicago." We're not going to lose Chicago. So we're going to have to go very big, and we're going to go probably, we're thinking about it for next PAM. We're going to hold it off. We're going to do some of the smaller ones. And the truth is, our people are so good. Gaddy, you're doing a great job wherever you may be. We're doing so good that I don't think we need too much practice, right? But we got to go and save our big cities, our great cities. Chicago's a great city, and we're going to make it great again very soon. And I think we can do that. Despite the tremendous size, I think we can do a real job, and we're going to give you the resources that you need. So with that, I'd like to just end by saying we're going to make Memphis safe again, and I'd like to ask Governor Bill Lee to say a few words, and then Pam can talk, and anybody else you'd like to talk to, we'll go through the whole list. We have all day long if we have to, because this is a very important thing. We have to save our country from violent crime. So Bill.
All right, and you see all these devils, okay, and they got you niggas in their crosshairs, man. You know, they allowed you niggas to run amok. Okay. They giving you niggas record deals and contracts, and okay. And niggas get to shoot each other up and rap about it and walk away scot-free. And you see, they've allowed you niggas to become the same thing they did with the Taliban, with ISIS. They create them, okay, and then they allow them to go rogue so they can double back and look like the hero when they come and destroy them. Okay, you niggas fell for the same play that they played with Ishmael in the Middle East. Okay, and you niggas have now become what? The face of domestic terrorism. Okay, and these Edomite men and women, okay, are finna come, all right, with their hammer, with their sword, man. You know, and that's a spirit, you know, the brother Captain Ba out of GMS Memphis, you know, just tapped in, you know. Yeah, man. So they on the way. Okay. And like Trump said, he said he's gonna do it swiftly. Okay. He's sending all them different government entities, okay, to wreck shop, man. And like I say, them young niggas in Memphis, them young niggas, all right, might go out with some glory, man. You know, one of them niggas, if I had to bet, it would probably be one of them Memphis niggas that's gonna set a new standard, man. Okay.
It's a picture with
Yeah, them the bottler cousin, man. You know. Well, let's get a couple precepts. You know, we get ready to end it. Okay. I think the brother got something I was looking for. Oh yeah, there you go. So this the brother. It's the brother Damawatia. All right, brother GMS Orlando. It said GMS in his likeness. Psalms 17 and 13. You can read it, bro.
It's Psalms 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, disappoint him and cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Yep, which is thy sword. Okay, so Esau is the sword. Matter of fact, we can get that. We can get that and end it, bro. Let's get that in Ezekiel. All right, 21. Okay, because Esau, you know, he was created, you know, to be a weapon of punishment. You see, and that's what Jake don't understand. All right, and if you try to fight against that weapon of punishment, because first off, it's coming to punish your ass because you won't get right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so and if you think you're gonna fight against the Lord's weapon, okay, of punishment, all right, true, because the only defense against Esau is Yahweh Shema Shai. Mm-hmm. All right, anything other than that, you're defenseless against the devil as an Israelite, man. Ezekiel 21 and 8 says, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. Okay, so what is that sword that's sharpened? We just read it. Esau is the sword himself, you know. And what is it? What that's why Esau is so sharp when it comes to weaponry. You know, he's extremely sharp when it comes to, you know, accuracy, you know, the destructiveness of a bullet, you know, the velocity. Like this nigga is into it, you know. This is what this nigga do. This is his blessing. You see, bullets they go through concrete. Okay, weaponizing dogs and robots and drones and, you know, everything that you can think of. This man can take it and make it a weapon. Okay, they got little flies that can land on you.
Pen.
Yeah, a pen. You know, everything you can think about. You know, even those radars that track, you know, planes and missiles. You know, well, it was this guy, this Edomite that worked at Raytheon. He was an engineer, and he said what they can do on those jets. You know, those jets have those radars that detect missiles and upcoming aircraft, and that's how they see them on their radar, because the heat that they send out, radiation that they send out. He said, but what they can do, they can turn them downward, and they can use it to radiate people, you know,
Damn.
to where people feel like they burning from the inside. Okay, so he said, but that's how these devils think. They think of, how can I use this as a weapon? Okay, because that's what he is. He's a weapon. Okay, so the Lord has this man sharp, you know, with his engineers and his military scientists. Okay, you got it, bro. Verse 9. Y'all read 9, verse 10. Yeah.
Verse 10, it says, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemned the rod of my son as every tree.
Yeah, so it's sharpened to make a slaughter. The Lord ain't got Esau, okay, with all this weaponry for nothing. It's finna be used. See, we finna really see why this man is known as the sword. We finna see why he is so wicked. We finna see why he's known as the violent man. Okay? And niggas ain't nowhere near ready for that. Okay? We're finna see. You see, and all what niggas still in this playing spirit. The fact that niggas talking about we got switches, nigga, you playing. They don't even register to what's finna be brought to you. You got it, bro.
Verse 11. And he had given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it to the hand of the slayer.
Yeah, so this sword, Esau, is sharp. All right. Now you can go into this in 2 levels, which we know Esau's weaponry, you know, because Esau was a slayer, you know, so he's been sharpening that sword, you know, and he's going to come slay. But ultimately, Esau himself is a sword in the hand of the Lord, and the Lord is ultimately going to slay you niggas, man. See, this is a punishment for 2/3 is coming. Okay, does this nigga exaggerate? Absolutely. Okay. Does he play a part in the way that niggas are? He's the source. He's the reason why niggas exist. Okay, why nigga culture exists. He's the reason behind it. All right, and if you still play into their role, okay, that he had them demonized throughout the earth, well, that's on you. Your results is on you. If you still playing into this character, this criminal, this thug, this street nigga, okay, you still playing into that, well, that's on you. Your results are on you, man. Okay, you got verse 12.
Verse 12, it says, cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, and it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh.
Yeah, so terrors by the sword, okay, shall be upon my people. You see? So Esau, all right, is a tool that the Lord is going to use to judge, man. Okay? And all you, you know, you niggas in these different cities, okay? Because you say Chicago say, well, we ain't like LA niggas or DC niggas. Esau going to handle you niggas all the same way. Okay? Because it's the Lord's judgment that's coming through. Okay? Esau finna handle all you niggas the same way. Okay? Esau not looking at you as LA niggas and DC niggas. Esau don't look at you like that. You just niggas to him. Savages. Okay? And he finna come through city by city and wreak havoc. And this is just, you know, the first phase, man. Okay? So, yeah, that was the point. You know, Lord will. All right. You know, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful and Shalom.
Shalom.